Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new chapter. In this chapter, we will be studying all about gravitation. Now, let's see what we already know. We know that a force is needed to change the speed or the direction of motion of an object. Now, if we see this with an example, we know that commonly if you drop something from a height, it's going to reach down. Like, for example, this bottle that's falling from a table, it's going to reach down to the ground. Similarly, all the planets are in an orbit around the sun. In the same fashion, we know that the moon is in an orbit around the earth and it revolves around the earth. We know that all these three things happen because of one phenomenon which we name as a gravitational force. Now, gravitational force, who came up with this gravitational force? It was Sir Isaac Newton who came up with the term gravitational force. Now, in this chapter, we will see how exactly he came up with the thought that there must be something called as a gravitational force. Now, if you see here, this is Sir Isaac Newton, regarded as the most original and influential theorist in the history of science. He was born in England to a very poor farming family. He wasn't very good at farming, so that's why he was sent to study to Cambridge. So one of those days, it is said that Newton was sitting under an apple tree and the apple fell on his head. Now, how much of this is actually true, whether the apple fell on his head that woke him out of his sleep, or whether he was observing when the apple fell to the ground is still debated. But let's think that Newton saw an apple fall. So when it fell, it got him to think. He thought that if the earth can attract an apple, can it not attract the moon towards itself? So he thought that in both the cases, it is the same type of force that is responsible. And he also argued that at each point of its orbit, that is this is one point, this is another point, this is another point. So he argued that in each point of the orbit, the earth is pulling the moon towards itself, because of which it is still in an orbit and not moving away somewhere in straight line, or it is not drifting away into space. He believed that this is because the earth is pulling the moon towards itself. If this is the case, then why isn't the moon falling on earth? Why is it still in the orbit and not falling on earth? We will try to understand this with an example. Now, if you see here, we'll take a piece of thread. This is a piece of thread. We have a stone. Okay, so if we take a piece of thread and tie a stone on one end, and we're going to hold the other end, and we whirl it in a circular fashion like it is shown here, let's see the observations as to how the stone will move. Okay, and then after some time, we will release it and see how the stone moves. The observations that we will make is that before the stone is released, it is going to move in a circular fashion. You can see the arrow right here. It's going to move in a circular fashion. Continuously, it is going to move round and round. Okay, at a certain speed, and it will change direction at every point. You know that if it weren't going to change a direction, it will go off straight. So it is changing direction at every interval. Now, this change in direction requires a change in velocity and acceleration. This we already know. The force that causes this acceleration and keeps the object moving in a circular path is acting towards the center. That is why it is called as a centripetal force. Centripetal in Latin means acting at the center or acting towards the center. So this is centripetal force, because of which this stone keeps revolving round and round and not moving away in a tangent. Now, what will happen if you release the stone? If you release the stone, like in this picture right here, if the stone is released, it flies off in a straight line. This straight line will be a tangent to the circle. We've just tried and extended the line this side as well. So if you observe here, this circle is the path that the stone was taking, and once it was released, it goes off in a tangent or a straight line. So what exactly is a tangent to a circle? A straight line that meets the circle at one point and one point only. Here, the point we consider as B. The straight line or the tangent is meeting the circle only at a single point called as B, and the straight line ABC is considered to be the tangent. Suppose we name this last point C. This straight line ABC is a tangent to the circle at the point B because it is touching the circular path only at a single point B. So with this, we can see how the motion of moon around the earth is due to centripetal force. So it is the same force that is responsible for the movement of the moon around the earth. The centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth. If there was no such force, then the moon would have pursued a straight line, would have drifted off into space. Just like a tangent, it would have just drifted off into space. So it is seen that an apple falling from a tree falls towards the earth. Does the apple attract the earth? If yes, then why don't we see the earth moving towards the apple? Don't you think so? This can be explained with the second law of motion. So what does the second law of motion say? According to the second law of motion, for a given force, acceleration is inversely proportional to the mass of the object. What does this point say? This means that is smaller the mass of the object, the more faster it will move. So when you compare the apple and the earth, which one do you think is larger? So the mass of the apple is a lot negligible when you compare it to earth. So we don't see the earth moving towards the apple. Same argument if we're trying to extend to this, we know that the mass of the earth is a lot larger than the mass of the moon. That is why the moon is revolving around the earth and not the other way around, or the earth is not moving towards the moon. So for the same thing, if we try to expand it to our solar system, we can explain it with the same principle. In our solar system, all the planets go around the sun. So if we argue in the same way, we can say that there exists a force between the sun and the planets. From these facts we've seen so far, Newton concluded not only does the earth attract the apple and the moon, but all the objects in the universe attract each other. This force of attraction between objects is called as gravitational force. So it was because of this kind of attraction between one object and another object that we come up with a term called as a gravitation. So I hope the concept of gravitational force is very clear to you. If you have any doubts at all, please write to us. Thank you.